A lot of my work starts actually when I'm out on walks, whenever I'm traveling. This show has some pieces from Oregon, throughout Los Angeles, a little bit of desert, and I take a lot of photos as I walk. And then I print them and bring them back to my studio, and then I sort through what I want to work on. And it usually, this unfolds after having a number of solo shows. I start to discover what my process really is. Usually starts with one or two images that really speak to me, that I want to work on. And then I have to sit back and look at what am I saying, what am I working on, how do I pull these other images in. Light path refractions, I became interested in this idea of, or this happening of light passing from one medium to another, through one medium to another. So a few of the images, like in the middle here, I focused with lens flares that I took with my camera, and then I started working on rainbows as well. And then a few, I really wanted kind of more of a still moment to give a little breathing space within the show, but then they still focus on, you know, the sun has set, the moon is rising, and a lot of like landscapes, a little peaks of cityscapes. And it's really these walks are really my way of processing what's going on in life and the world, and light has been subject matter for me for years. But I'm really excited about this show because now I just have more images with these lens flares that I'm so excited to get into. A lot of times after a show I kind of pause and go, what am I going to do now? But I'm going with it, so it's very exciting. And then I had a fun moment at the opening. I had thought of it a little bit when I started painting the rainbows. When I was a little girl on a road trip with my dad and stepmom and one of my sisters, we saw a rainbow in the distance. And I think I was so small, but I feel like it was the PCH, so it's curving. And we went around a corner and we went through the bottom of the rainbow. And it was just this bright, like white, but a little bit golden light, and it felt like that pot of gold. So over the years, I've taken photos of rainbows every time I see one. And was thinking about, I was working on one painting this spring when my grandma was passing away, and I was like, I don't know if I want to bring rainbows into the show, but I really feel like working on this one. And then she passed away, and the next day there was this huge rainbow outside of my apartment, and I just went with it. So I've had so much fun working on those as well. And that's the piece at the end, that's a rainbow I saw in the city, but I just didn't include the telephone wires and poles. And so I've had a really great time exploring the light in those. Rainbows are really hard to paint. So I work in egg tempera, and it's a lot of thin layers. So it actually lent itself really well to working on rainbows. I was really surprised. So I may work on some of those in the future as well. But yeah, let's see, I'm trying to think of, the coyote was really fun during my opening because a lot of people were looking at it and like, what's this coyote? This is really a coyote that I had an experience with that started following me after I took the picture. So it's just moments in my life as I'm in the city or in the desert or kind of exploring. And this show for me, I feel like it's really hopeful, it's colorful. My life has never been so busy, and probably the mantra that I kept saying to myself as I was working on it and became more confident in it was, it's not worth doing if I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of dug into. And I'm really proud of the show, and I feel like, you know, the opening was really successful. I had so many great conversations with people interacting with the work, so that was great to see, and I'm happy all of you came out to the talk. It's so nice. Yeah, I think, any questions? Yes.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
How many eggs using?
How many eggs do I use? Okay. Well, so egg tempura, so people don't always know what egg tempura is. So egg tempura is a very old medium, predates oil painting. So your religious icon paintings that you'll see in museums, that's egg tempura. I just do not paint in a traditional way with it. So I separate the yolk from the white, and I move the yolk back and forth in my hand over the sink until I can pick it up. And then I poke a hole in that with a needle, and I collect it in a container. And that I use within 3 days, and then I do it again. And then traditionally, artists usually mix a lot of their paints and then store them. But I'm busy, my paints would start to spoil. So I mix, I'm very untraditional with it. I have a glass palette, and I put on gloves and a mask, and I mix right there. What are the colors I'm working on today? And I do it right there. And then after I mix, you know, the mask can come off, and I open the windows, so I'm safe and everything. But it's watered down, so it's mixing egg yolk with dry pigment and a lot of water. And so it's a lot of really thin layers. So each area, I think I'm going to start keeping track of how much time it takes. It might be depressing when I look at my prices and my timing, but each area can take quite a number of layers. And I'll paint one layer, it has to completely dry before I can paint over it again, or the paint underneath it comes up. So I often work on multiple panels at once. So it's hard for me to keep track of how many